In this episode of Beast Legends, the team digs up an ancient mystery in the southwestern United States.
It's like bad stuff happened in this room.
They're searching for evidence of a creature that descends like a nightmare from the sky.
You almost feel it.
A Navajo legend that forces the team to face death in the darkness.
Hopefully this works.
And endure the dangers of flight. Beware the monster bird.
Let's get out of here.
Stories of terrifying monsters are told the world over. Some are myths, but others are believed to be real. Now a team of investigators will track down clues and find evidence for the beast behind the legend. The quest to build the creature, bring it to life, and unleash it on the modern world. Francis is in New Mexico, home of the monster bird. He is here to find clues about what this monstrous man-eating bird may look like.
Go, come on, dude.
Scott is investigating the vicious behavior of birds of prey.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
The rest of the team are in the Beast Lab, searching for the source of the legend.
Yeah.
This isn't just a fairy tale for the Navajo or Diné people. Monster bird was real and is real.
All right, guys, check this out.
On the lands of the Navajo Nation, on a mountain called Shiprock, a giant monster bird reigns. With 2 hungry mouths to feed, it soars above the desert, hunting for human prey, snatching victims with razor-sharp claws, dropping them to their death. Say Nahale, one who smashes on rocks. It is the monster bird. This story has inspired the team to imagine what this beast might be and to bring it to virtual life.
And this is going to be a cool one to build, but challenging.
It's going to be very challenging because biologically it throws up quite a few problems. This bird is huge, it's monstrous.
It would have to be.
It would have to be, to be able to pick a human up, be able to carry it into the air and dropping it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there hasn't been anything, around in human history that has been able to do that. So we're really starting from scratch here.
Right. I think that what we should do now is get more information directly from the Navajo people about the story.
Yeah, if we know the sort of bird we're looking at, then we can start to work out just how big it's going to be.
Well, let's send Francis to Shiprock.
Perfect. In order to build our 3D monster bird, we need more information about what the beast looks like. So we've sent Francis on a mission to the home of the monster bird. And we've rented him a horse, which unfortunately doesn't come with a manual.
Whoa, this way, buddy. Let's go, come on. Go, come on, dude. Let's go. All right, come on, buddy. Whoa.
Now that my horse and I have finally come to an understanding, I'm headed in the right direction.
Whoa.
The guy I'm going to meet is a Navajo archaeologist and the son of a medicine man.
Hey, Francis!
He has details of a story about how monster bird attacks, and he's agreed to tell me.
I'm glad you came down.
I feel honored that you guys are letting me in on the story, because I know you don't usually just put it out there like that.
Well, in the Western world, it would be considered like it's a myth.
Yeah.
But for us, it's an actual event as part of our history.
Shiprock has been a sacred place for the Navajo for over 500 years, and in fact, they don't like anyone climbing it for fear of stirring up ghosts of the dead. The atmosphere around here is creeping me out.
It's really cool how you see just nothing for miles here, I mean, imagine a monster bird perched up there, and we're riding on our 2 little horses. They'll see us from like miles away.
We're easy picking then.
Oh, yeah.
Taft's going to give me the details of a story that is recorded as a real event in Navajo history. The attack on a warrior named Monster Slayer, right here several hundred years ago.
Well, the story is about 45 miles, and back of this peak, there's a place called Red Mesa. As he was walking back towards this Shiprock here, the monster bird spotted him. As the bird flew to pick him up, and he just lay to his side and actually moved his arm to the side too, and it just scratched him. And the thing he said was, "Na yetsasi," meaning the monster missed me.
Right.
And the bird came down and with its claws picked him up, and it was like he just dropped him towards the peak.
In the legends, did they ever describe what the monster bird looks like?
When something is coming at you, you don't have time to look at the details of what that thing that's going to kill you really looks like. In the history, the way it was described, it was large enough to pick up a person, so it had claws enough to pick you up. So it was a cross almost between an eagle and a condor.
Wow. This is probably what you would see
As it's coming towards you.
as it's coming towards
Right.
you.
Okay, we've got a few leads. We need to look at condors and eagles, and this beast is definitely big enough to carry away a grown man. Now we just have to fill in the details.
I feel like I have more artistic liberty that I could take with this thing because there wasn't really that much of a description.
I can totally get that, because actually at the end of the day, what it looks like to them is less important than what it actually does in some ways. And in fact, everybody's going to have their own interpretation on, you know, specific characteristics. Eagle, condor, they're two very different birds, but they're big birds. So you can just give us a, you know, a big silhouette bird to start off with, and that will be a start. These are animals that would have been around for, you know, all of human history here, the condor and the eagles.
Yeah.
They're the largest flying things that the people would have seen. But it's a great place for them to live. The reason that they mention these birds is because this, if you look at this landscape, it's ideal for soaring birds. It's because you've got cliffs for them to launch off. You've got great hot plains for the, you know, thermal activity. You'll get loads of thermals during the day here. Thermals are columns of warm air that rise up from the ground that has been heated up by the sun. Soaring birds use them to hitch a ride up, like an invisible elevator. This is just further proof that Shiprock is the ideal place for a giant bird. We know we need to look at eagles and condors. Let's start with a California condor, the largest bird in North America. Our goal is to get a look at a condor in flight.
Yeah, so this area we're going is not even people that live around here get access to this.
If you want Californian condors, this is the guy to be with.
In this area, they disappeared in early 1930s. The last nesting pair in Big Sur disappeared.
So this is part of the capture-release program?
Yes.
We're in the Ventana Wildlife Reserve. It's one of the only places where you can see a condor in flight, because just 20 years ago, these birds were nearly extinct. Now, there are only 87 of them in all of California.
So yeah, monster bird, what is the description?
There wasn't a lot of description in terms of what it looks like.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we got
It's
a,
just
it's
big.
big. It's big.
It's
And
big,
it's what it
and
can
it's got-
do, basically, as well. So,
Exactly. We could take pieces from
Yeah.
certain birds, and you know, particularly the condor, see what we can take from it. And
Yeah, the
apply
largest
for a
flying bird in
monster
North America.
Yeah,
That's a good
great
start.
place to start. Yeah, exactly. So we're looking at sheer size at the moment. The condor is the biggest lead we have on monster bird, and how it flies will be key to forming our beast. There is no guarantee we'll see one, but something tells me from the stench of dead cow remains that we're on the right track. There's just bones everywhere, isn't there?
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
There's like a head right there.
Yeah, someone that would stumble upon
stepped on
this,
it.
a hiker that accidentally stumbled upon this would think they would stumble upon a horror movie.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
This is kind of a good way to depict how well they clean a carcass.
God,
You can
there's
see.
nothing left. You can see they've gone in and they've stripped it from the inside out.
I'm starting to think twice about getting up close and personal with this bird. Just when I'm officially freaked out, we hear this insane sound.
Whoa.
Francis and I are in Big Sur, California, trying to get a look at a condor, but so far all we've found is a trail of dead animals.
You know,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the skin's all there, but everything's picked out from under.
And that's the way they're designed. They make a hole in, and then they go in and scoop
that
everything
hole
out.
right in the neck. Oh.
Now we're talking. I can imagine the desert around Ship Rock would have been littered with human carcasses just like this.
Oh yeah, here's a condor.
Okay.
See, here they are,
that's
perched up in the trees.
Whoa.
God, you almost feel it when they come over the top of you, don't they?
Well, you can hear it. Just the flapping is.
Yeah,
really
whistling
common.
through their feathers, yeah.
Next thing you know, not just one, but 3 condors descend on us.
You see that? Like, you see how it's sort of slightly twisting its tail?
Yeah. No, that's... And in fact, the wings stay pretty rock steady.
Yeah.
Because
Except, like, the end, it's kind of flares.
a little bit of finger action at the end.
These wings are exquisite, perfect design for a monster bird to soar high above the desert. Time for Francis to pull out the ink.
So I think what I really like from the condors is the wings, but we want it to be more agile, but I think the size is perfect.
Then we look, and there's a condor mother feeding her young, regurgitated flesh. Sweet.
Yeah, look at that, he's feeding them. That's pretty rare, guys. No one sees that.
It seems like the perfect place. Just like the legend, we found some wicked soaring wings, carnage left behind, and monster feeding habits.
Wow, that is amazing.
I was thinking disgusting, but that could work too.
No, it really is cool.
All right, I really think we should start with these condor parts.
You know, there's some key features you really need to put in there. I mean, they can soar for hours without even flapping their wings, and so they've got to have these long wings and broad wings that are adapted for catching those thermals. The layers on those wings, you know, they've got the primaries, they've got the secondaries, they've got all these layers which create this amazing airfoil. Good, that's looking really good. Now we're talking.
The condor has given us ideal soaring wings, but they aren't hunters. Condors only eat dead things. Monster Bird hunts and kills live humans. So time to follow our next lead, eagles and how they attack. We're going to the coast to meet a champion paraglider who was viciously attacked in midair by 2 eagles.
Okay, Francis, we're flying today.
All right.
So I introduce you to Pat. Patrick's going to be the tandem pilot. So you're going to be the packet on the front of his glider, and I'm going to be flying my solo wing alongside you.
All right, so maybe like a little kangaroo in the pouch.
Exactly.
Nikki's got the chops to get me up in the air. This will show me what it's like to be a bird, and her story will give us some clues about how eagles attack. Steve has agreed to spot us from the beach.
When you're actually getting in the harness, you might need to wriggle your butt a bit to actually get in. Otherwise, you could be hanging by your which won't be the most comfortable flight.
Yeah, no, I kind of treasure my there. So.
Yeah, so get them in a comfortable place.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay.
Oh, are you leaving your glasses there?
Oh, yeah,
Nice and casual. So your mission really is to, bar going, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap a lot, is to sort of really get an idea of what it's like to be carried away by a bird.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm guessing with all these straps, it's gonna feel just like if something was grabbing you, except there's no sharp claws or talons digging into me.
Hopefully, yeah, you'll feel pretty secure underneath there, so yeah.
Oh, run, Francis, run!
All right, here we go, guys. All in the name of science. Oh. Woo! Science rules! Oh, Wow, this is awesome.
I'm getting a pretty good sense of what it might feel like to be carried away. Now it's time to turn our attention to the story of a bird attack.
Flying in Australia in a competition on the Queensland and New South Wales border, and then I heard a screech behind me, quite a loud screech. I recognised that there was a wedge-tailed eagle behind me, and I've flown with them many times, and they've normally been really friendly, really cool. They'll just come along thermal with you, fly on your wingtip. But this one came from way above me and behind.
So what happens next? Did they swoop in and try to sort of, I don't know, claw your face out or something?
One would swoop in, and the other one attack, the other one would come down, then they'd peel off to the side and come back and have another go. But they were definitely in aggressive mode because I had 5 big rips along the top surface of the glider, and one of the cells at the leading edge, the open part of the leading edge, was completely ripped out.
Whoa!
One of them swooped down, and I don't know whether he just misjudged or whether he actually did want me for lunch, but one of them came in from above and behind again and actually hit me on the back of my helmet and then got tangled in the lines in front.
Whoa, that's intense.
Unbelievable. This is perfect behavior for our monster bird. We need it not only to soar, but to have this dive bombing ability so it can swoop down and attack its prey from out of nowhere.
Okay guys, I've just been told that the winds are getting too strong. Patrick's a little worried about Nikki getting blown over the highway there.
Copy that, copy that.
Francis and I are in Big Sur, California, getting into the mindset of a monster bird.
We've been elevating rather than descending.
Copy that, copy that.
But now we've just got to figure out how to get Francis and Nikki back on the ground.
She's having trouble getting the ear tips down to descend, I guess. Patrick is ready to go down whenever Nikki's ready.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on Nikki then. I assume, Nikki, that you're not going to communicate if you're flying, so, and I'll get ready to grab your wingtip.
Oh, that was pretty smooth. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. Yep.
Woo! Yeah, I had to stop talking because the wind had really picked up.
But you could really see it picked up a lot.
Yeah, you could feel that it had picked up a lot.
Francis, this is what we need. We need a predatory, you know, ability.
I mean, like, just the attitude from it, you know, it sounds like a badass. That's, it doesn't care how big is
that's
there. It's
a good
coming,
thing,
you know?
So it's maneuverable, it's got weapons, it's got much more of a sort of an attitude that we want our monster bird to have.
Yeah, this is imperative behavior for our monster bird because it's a predator. I mean, it's got to be coming out of nowhere and surprising its prey.
And what we need to really change these condor wings into something more predatory is we need more flexibility.
All right, I think I can change that up.
That's looking really good.
Yeah.
We're about to, I'm pretty sure I'm missing a joint somewhere here.
Well, yeah, you need to have the elbow, which is kind of hidden, actually.
That's looking better.
You need to have that wrist show some flexibility. You need to have it assume lots of positions. Sometimes they can lock their wings straight, but other times they're flapping and bending their wings really dramatically.
That's looking better.
Yeah, that's looking really good.
Yeah.
All right, how big is this monster bird? How big am I making this beast?
Well, it's going to have to be big enough to carry a human, and that's going to require a little bit of field work. We're going to have to see what size prey a typical raptor can carry in flight, and then we're going to have to do some number crunching to figure out how that scales to something human-sized prey.
The monster bird was such a terrifying threat to the people of the desert because it was known to come out of nowhere and slash people's bodies with its terribly sharp talons, and then had the extraordinary power to lift itself and its human prey high onto the cliffs. Scott and Francis are at the Beamer Memorial Conservation Area in Canada to meet a bird trainer who's going to help us figure out how big our monster bird needs to be to lift a man.
Hey, Dan.
How are you?
Good to see you. We need to work out how much weight a bird of prey can lift relative to its own body weight.
What do we go with?
What do we got there?
250.
Perfect.
Yes, this is the same 1,100 gram
Okay,
bird.
so we're a little less than a quarter of its body weight. Test number 1. Can monster bird lift 1/4 of its weight?
Would you just lift her up?
No, just 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
No throwing it off.
Let's up the ante a little bit.
Let's up the ante here.
Well, I think we should go up to 500.
Really? You
Yeah.
want to do for it? Okay,
Yeah.
so we can
All
go.
right. So we're talking 500 grams now, which is about a little less than half its body weight. To carry half its body weight would be a challenge for any living creature, let alone one that flies. Now get far enough away so we can really...
Absolutely.
All
Yeah, that's far.
Right, excellent. I'll be shocked if monster bird could carry 3/4 of its own weight. Here goes.
Oh!
That was
Okay,
near
she
its
couldn't
limit.
control the flight,
Yeah.
but she was lifting the weight.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
he did it.
that is awesome.
But I think we were near its limit there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're getting very close to the limit
That
here.
was very close.
if we want our monster bird to run and launch and
Yeah,
power off
that
at
was the
will,
movement, yeah.
That was
And
with
it-
weight.
And it showed that it could incline, increase its altitude with the big weight on it.
But
So
check this out. With weight, no running start,
exactly.
right off the ground.
Exactly.
Purely
Very
powered
little
flight.
wind. Very little wind.
Okay, so we figured out that our monster bird can carry 3/4 of its own body weight. But what kind of talents would be ideal for snatching up a human?
Oh, wait. Oh.
Now, the amazing part with horned owls is that their feet are unbelievably powerful. Okay, their crushing strength is I would say physically almost twice as much as a hawk is.
So I wonder, Scott, what if we gave it like owl, like claws in terms of the way the appendages are?
Well, I
Just the
think
grip
the
on that is
zygodactyl
pretty
feet
insane.
are very cool because that really conveys power and the
Yeah.
ability to grip from both
Well, because
sides.
rather than like 3 like this, you know,
That's
and
right.
most of the weight is over here, so now you have
2 and 2.
2 and 2 here.
Yeah.
So that's a balanced gripping
Absolutely.
power.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah. No, I think that would be really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Nice. Yeah. Okay.
That works totally.
Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah.
The big thing is that we still have the problem of it's picking up a human. Now, if it's going to be picking up somebody your size or it's going to be picking up somebody sort of my size, that's going to make a big difference. That power to weight ratio is going to be huge. So if this animal's evolved in this region and it was taking down humans, we need to find out, you know, what was the average height of a human, how big are these people?
Well, the lucky thing is we've got a really great record of human occupation in the Southwest, and there's a really extraordinary site quite close to Shiprock. It's called Chaco Canyon. Lots and lots of ancient remains, and it's pretty well known archaeologically, so that could give us some information about the size of the people.
That's great, because if we get the prey to predator size right, then that's it. We'll be able to work out exactly how big our bird needs to be.
Let's go after the prey.
Okay, so I know I was just here, but it seems I have to come back. Catherine is taking me to a 1,000-year-old archaeological site not far from Ship Rock. Our plan is to figure out an approximate size of the people that the monster bird would have lifted and killed.
So do you know what like the Navajo people's theory is for like the afterlife?
You fundamentally just stay around. Your spirits hang around.
Yeah, it's almost like you become a part of the earth, right?
Exactly, you become a part of the landscape. Yeah.
Is there like dead bodies under those homes?
For sure, yeah, there's burials there.
Oh man, that is creepy.
Something blue. Yeah. I don't think that's good.
We're in Chaco County, New Mexico, trying to make our way to the site of an ancient ruin.
Did you check the keys out or no?
We're hoping to figure out the height and weight of monster bird's prey.
It's just kind of the moment where I'm like, I wish Steve was here because he knows cars.
He knows cars.
But our truck has just died. Our only hope now is to hitch a lift.
Oh, good. Hi.
I was just driving and then I just hear this noise and then smoke and smoke. A lot of smoke and well.
Where were you headed?
No, it's just see my grandma.
So we're trying to get to
grandma
Chaco. Was there any way that you could drop us off there?
Sure.
Good thing Catherine is here to charm us a ride. We're headed to a place called Chaco Canyon, the ancient ruins of a haunted city in the middle of the desert.
So where we're heading is, you see that thing over there that looks like a great big lump?
All the lumps and stuff?
That is the ancient world right in front of our eyes, so let's go check some of that out. There's actually quite a lot that we need to see. I hope we manage it before we lose the light. Don't want to be stuck out here with all the ghosts.
What ghosts?
There were a lot of people that lived here, and then at the end of it, they all just kind of disappeared.
So you're basically going to a ghost town in every sense of the word.
That's right.
Chaco Canyon was a thriving community for several centuries around 1,000 years ago. It's long been seen as a mysterious site. People have often wondered, why was it abandoned?
That's awesome.
That is one of the best preserved 1,000-year-old sites you're ever gonna find.
Oh, yeah.
And 600 rooms. Huge.
In the 1800s, settlers and archaeologists found it deserted with all the doorways carefully bricked up. The site had been ritually closed down. Everyone had deliberately left, never to return.
Catherine's decided to start our exploration of the ruins with a piece of disturbing history. She takes me into a tiny dark space that archaeologists mocked up to look like it did 1,000 years ago.
It's kind of eerie in a way, you know?
It was such a troubled place.
Right. Was it like a lot of internal conflict within the tribe?
Absolutely, yeah, horrendous. I mean, you get dismembered bodies, you get people who were clearly ritually killed, sacrificed, all of those different things.
It is said that long ago, to appease the monster bird, children were sacrificed, but the monster wasn't satisfied and snatched up adults as well.
All the folklore, all the stories, all the religious stories afterwards, they all allude to it being a troubled place and to the idea that nobody was at rest here. And the whole fact that they sealed up so many of the doors and they kind of ritually closed the whole place before they left, it just says, like, there's bad stuff here and we want it to stay inside.
It gives you the shivers because it's like
is.
bad
It
stuff
is.
happened in this room. Let's close it off and forget it's there.
Yeah, it's from a bad time. Yeah, it's from a time of monsters.
Exactly. Very creepy.
Let's get out into the sunlight.
Yeah.
Now we need to figure out how big the ancient peoples who lived here were. I have an idea. Let's measure the doorways.
It's about 3'6".
So anyway, I'm not sure that we can extrapolate the size of the people from the size of the doors. Maybe we could have done it from the ceilings, but the ceilings are all gone. But we still have the ceiling beams here, which is kind of handy.
Yeah.
So those were, you know, those are the features that show us where the ceilings were.
It's about 5'8". Well, I mean, like, if this is the height of the ceiling and everyone is generally my height and shorter,
yeah.
So then we're dealing with a weight of anywhere from 75 to about 135.
Yeah.
That's like if they're fit, not...
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
and actually the weight thing is a really interesting thing as well, because the other thing I can tell you from the skeletal analyses that have been done is that nutrition wasn't great. And we need to get it exactly right, because if you're talking like for a lift ratio.
Yeah.
There's nothing like seeing something in person. It's been informative, but imprecise. A better measure can be taken from ancient human bones found in the area. Archaeological studies of these bones have shown that a reasonable estimate for a warrior's size during this time would be about 1.6 meters and 55 kilograms. That's on the small side, so that's the minimum that the monster bird would have to lift.
So based on a prey weight of 55 kilograms, and our calculation that a bird of prey can lift up to 3/4 of its body weight, monster bird can now be scaled up to weigh 72 kilograms and have a wingspan of 10 meters.
If you stick with that sort of shape for now and just make the wingspan tip to tip 35 feet. So that's pretty huge. It's bigger than any other bird that has ever flown.
I'm not sure that would get off the ground.
So we can't just take a smaller bird and just kind of make him bigger.
No, it doesn't work like that. Big birds flap slowly because they physically can't move their wings fast enough. So this thing is not going to be able to get into the air by just pumping its wings. So we're going to run into massive issues.
I have a plan, but it's a radical one. Based on our latest set of calculations, our monster bird is so big and heavy that I'm pretty sure it couldn't lift itself, let alone a 55-kilogram person. I think it's time to look elsewhere.
Probably hit a brick wall when it just comes to bird anatomy. You know, birds only got to a specific size for a reason, and that's the biomechanics of feathers, muscle, and bone can only get you so far.
So what do you propose?
I think that probably the best thing to do is look at other large flying creatures, and the largest creatures ever to take in the air that we know of, pterosaurs, you know. So they were bigger, had bigger wingspans, they were over 30 feet. So that's in the right sort of ballpark, and they were definitely heavier.
Okay.
So I think that would be a great avenue, and maybe we borrow a bit of their biology.
Okay.
It is going to radically change our anatomy, Mike. So we've got to have these accessory digits as well. This is where you're going to have your little talons out that are going to be used for walking, and they're also going to have, you know, reasonable sort of strength at grabbing as well. Yes, that's it, that's it.
Looking more like a dinosaur.
Question now is whether the monster bird with its new pterosaur forelimbs would have the power to lift off and carry a grown man. I've sent Scott and Francis to meet the perfect person to answer this question.
Scott. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you.
How you doing?
Doing very well.
Michael Habib is one of the world's foremost experts on pterosaur locomotion.
So I heard that you're gonna help us make this thing fly.
The trick is to have more of the limbs in contact with the ground.
So then it'll be more about the mechanics of the actual takeoff.
Birds have a little bit of a handicap. They can only use the hind limbs, they can only use the legs. But there is another way. If we use the wings and the legs, more power, right? Most of the power is in the chest and in the arms.
Yeah.
More power, more push, more speed.
Right.
Gets off the ground.
That could work.
Yeah. So it pushes, like, launches like that?
Basically, yeah, so it pushes off with its feet first, and then the hands come off. I'll take you through the stages. It started in what in stage one is just a stance, standing there. And it's crouching down, these joints are bending, and then the head's up like that. Then it falls.
It's now lopsided.
Like now lopsided, so the head would actually be pointing down a bit.
Okay.
Now it's got to get in the air. This is time for the fun stage. This is time for the launch stage here.
You're gonna unleash those springs.
Exactly. Not only does it allow the animal to carry off a 120-pound person, you're gonna get something that's bigger, faster, a good deal meaner.
Okay. I'm really excited to just put it all together.
It looks freaky on the ground.
Yeah.
But the great thing is that if you then get it to open its wings out fully, it looks just like a bird again.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
We did it.
Yeah. That is great because, okay, it's looking less bird, but it's definitely monster. Now that we've figured out how big our monster bird is and how it gets off the ground, it's time to fill in the details of its beak, head and eyes. Of all the birds we've seen, the condor seems to be the best fit to give us these details. They're menacing and prehistoric looking, but we have to get up close this time. The only way to do this is to bait the traps at night.
You ready?
Oh. We're using this calf that died a natural death, so while it's a bit grisly, it's very humane.
Oh, I've never been around so much dead stuff. I feel like a mafioso right now, getting rid of evidence. I mean, this is gonna be really key to trapping the condor. And it's really important that tomorrow they're there and ready because there's very few of them out there, so hopefully this works.
Yeah, we do this at night so the birds don't associate us with food. So it's really critical. They go to bed like we do, they go find a treat. So it makes it a little spookier, but it's better for the birds.
We've reached the cage, and now we have to place the dead calf inside to lure the condors in. If the bait lures a condor, a biologist will shut the cage. Just to make sure we trap one, we're going to put out a few rodent appetizers.
Okay, guys, let's sprinkle out some rats.
You got the bag?
Where's my bag of rats?
Just round the carcass.
The condors will be happy, but I'm officially grossed out, and I'm starting to hear things that go screech in the night.
Oh, let's get out of here.
Francis and I have returned to California for the final details of our monster bird. The cage we baited with a dead calf has done the trick. A large male has been trapped in the cage, and Joe is giving us permission to get our hands on it, if he can catch it first.
All right, got it. All right. This guy, we want to get that head under control. Okay, there we go. There you
Oh yeah, he knows all about it.
Yeah.
Fair dues.
It's a lot bigger.
No, you're all right there because you pin them together.
1, 2, 3. Hooking over.
Good job.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, you got it.
Okay.
Just look at his head. Looks so freaky.
It's just a weird looking head.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, though, you know? It's so built for digging into carcasses. And just...
The colour of the eyes is amazing. I don't think I've seen, to be honest, if I saw that in any other animal, I would think it was pathological. I think there was something seriously wrong with it. It kind of looks rabid, doesn't it? It looks like.
Well, what's so cool about it, it almost looks like, you know, when you like turn into a zombie and then your eyes turn all red. You know, I kind of like the furry neck thing. Like, what's the deal with that?
It's literally
So
like
they
a
can
hood. It's almost
flare
like a
out?
hoodie. Like when you wear a hoodie, they can bring it up almost like a hood and literally retract their head into it. And I've seen them in downpours just
Buried.
even in the snow, you see icicles hanging off them, you know, and you'll see water
that's
or
kind
ice
of
dripping right off
badass.
the
I
beam.
kind of want to work it in conjunction with the neck part. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
wanna hang
yeah,
on to
okay.
that. You know, Joe was mentioning that it can retract his entire head. Imagine from far away if this was standing on top of Shiprock. Like that.
Now we have everything we need, and I've come full circle. What started out as a silhouette in Shiprock can now become a fleshed out beast. My plan is to make a fully detailed to scale graffiti version of Monster Bird. Take the head, wings, and eyes of a condor, the beak and forelimbs of a pterosaur, and the gripping claws of an owl. Instant Monster Bird.
Man, this is the most rest I've had all day.
Wicked. Time to watch a beast movie.
All right, here we go.
But it's so good.
You know, it's a monster bird as opposed to just a great big bird. The key to building this beast, figuring out how our monster bird can both soar and dive bomb. By giving our monster bird the ability to launch into the air like a pterosaur, soar with condor wings, and clutch its prey with owl talons, we've got ourselves a beast legend.